Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. For one thing, we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, what up? Talk your truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop.
Pull up a seat. You're now in Corey's Corner, where right conversations matter. I'm your host, Corey Pegues, and I always keep it right, not real. Today on Corey's Corner, we're joined by Assemblyman Clyde Vanel, a leading voice at the intersection of public policy, technology, and community empowerment. Assemblyman Vanel serves as chair of the Assembly Banks Committee and chair of the Subcommittee on Internet and New Technology, where he has sponsored landmark legislation on artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, and cryptocurrency, focused on protecting consumers while closing the digital divide in marginalized communities. He's also deeply committed to building pipelines for the next generation, exposing young people to STEM careers, and founding the New York Metro chapter of the Black Pilots of America, which introduces youth and communities of color to aviation. Assemblyman Vanel is a member of the MIT AI Policy Forum, a frequent lecturer on AI, blockchain, and intellectual property, and earned his J.D. Juris Doctor from Boston University School of Law. He represents New York's 33rd Assembly District and is a proud member of the Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Incorporated. Assemblyman Vanel, welcome to Corey's Corner.
Yo, thank you for having me, bro.
Been waiting for you to come on, brother.
Well, excited. I've been watching and following you, and I'm really excited about being here.
I appreciate that. Before we jump into our next segment, quick word from our sponsors. This episode of Corey's Corner is proudly sponsored by Vodka, the smooth fusion of vodka and tequila that's taking the city by storm. Vodka, sip different. Much respect to Corrupt Mob MC, one of the strongest motorcycle clubs out here representing brotherhood, community, and real loyalty. We appreciate the support and salute the entire Corrupt Mob MC family. Respect the mob. Now let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning. If you had to describe your early years in one short story, what would that story be?
Well, listen, I'm from a family of, there's 10 of us, so I got 9 other brothers and sisters. My parents are immigrants, so we...
From where?
From Haiti. Both my parents are from Haiti.
I say.
Oh, my boulé, man, of course.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. What you know about that, brother? What you know?
I was commanding officer East Flatbush.
Oh, so you know a lot about that. You
I'm
know a lot
honorary.
about... You are honorary Haitian, bro.
Yes.
So listen, I grew up big family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my parents are immigrants. But one of the things I was thinking about is what shaped my life as a young person. And for me, what kept me out of trouble is I thought I was going to NBA. I was a ball player. Mm-hmm. And now I wasn't good enough to get into the league, but that kept me out of getting in trouble. Mm-hmm. So I would, I was a Catholic school kid, and I would play in the parks, and I would travel around New York City playing ball.
Right.
I think, that shaped me. My parents shaped me. Really strict parents. And then the neighborhood, my neighborhood of Southeast Queens, shaped who I am today.
Wow. I never knew you had that many siblings. Damn. I had 6 sisters. You had
wow.
10.
I had 6 sisters. I got 6 sisters and 3 other brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no brothers. It was just me.
Wow.
I was a spoiled brat.
Wow. Nah. So I had to manage the politics of the house. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting being from a family with a lot of siblings, right? You gotta, and everybody's, your dynamics in your family life and who you are helps shape you with how you're raised and who you're with.
Well, that brings to the next question. Growing up in that environment with 10 siblings, how did growing up in such a large household shape your leadership style today?
So interesting.
So where are you in the 10?
So my mom had one child before she got married to my dad. My dad had 1, and then they had 8 together.
Okay.
So
I'm
the oldest of the 8.
You're the oldest of the 8.
I'm the oldest of the 8.
Okay.
So, you learn different things, right? You learn how to manage people. Mm-hmm. You learn how to make sure you manage a house. Mm-hmm. Back in the days, now it's crazy now with young people. I mean, they don't let teenagers travel alone, right? I mean, teenagers.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm gonna get my parents in trouble, but I was a kid watching all these kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
I used to have to walk home from school, when I was less like 9 years old, right? I used to have to walk my siblings back home, home.
Right.
So you learn you learned a certain level of independence. You learn how to, and now they call them latchkey kids, right? I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. But you learn how to make sure, responsibility at an early age.
Right.
Also, I learned too, Corey, I wanted to get out the house. You know how all kids want to stay in the home and play video games?
Right.
I was opposite. I wanted to get out the house, man. So I wanted to work early. It was something called working papers. I don't know if they still got that now.
Yeah. They still.
So
my
as soon
son
as I was,
just had some
oh really?
to do a summer job.
Yo, but as soon as I was 14 years old, I was like, I got to get out this house, man, right? So, to get working papers and to work outside and to learn about the world. My first job was a messenger in Manhattan.
Okay.
So I was 13 years old and I had to drop off. There was no direct deposit back in the day. Mm-hmm. So I had to drop off people's paychecks and drop off stuff that used to have to be dropped off. So I learned Manhattan at an early age because I was a messenger on foot, not even on bike.
Wow.
So, so it's really, really, the upbringing was really great because it taught me responsibility, hard work, and how to make sure that if you want something, work for it, save the money, and then buy it.
Right. What inspired you to go the aviation route, pursue aviation, and how did becoming a licensed pilot influence your broader view of possibility and innovation?
So when I was in school, when I was in high school, I only applied to one college.
What high school you went to?
I went to St. John's Prep.
Okay.
In Astoria, Queens. And I only applied to one college, and I applied to an aviation school. And
not the College of Aeronautics.
No, that's a school in Florida. I went to a Florida school.
Okay.
Called Embry-Riddle, Aeronautical University in Florida. Mm-hmm. And I guess I was influenced by, where we live, man. So we live, we always hear the airplanes above our heads, right? And JFK is right there.
Yes.
So I was always interested in that. But Corey, I never traveled, bro. I never got on an airplane when I was a kid.
Right.
Probably one time.
None of us did.
I never had a passport.
Right.
So as a matter of fact, when I first went to college, I went to college in Florida. You know how I got to college, bro?
The bus.
Greyhound. How you know? yo, Greyhound, son.
That's like
Greyhound all the way.
I was gonna say that was
24
like,
hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a long ride.
Corey, 24 hours. So I went to college with a duffel bags and I went to an aviation college on the bus from New York.
With no interest in doing aviation.
Of course, I wanted to be a pilot. You know what I'm saying? So I was interested. I wanted to be a pilot. So I was like, I'm gonna go, and I wanted to go play ball over there. But I didn't have experience in the world, man. I never traveled. I never been on a bus. I'm sorry, I never been on a plane.
And you never been on a bus for 18 hours.
Never been on a bus for 24 hours, 24 bro. 24 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Stops.
A lot of stops. And Greyhound was a thing back then. I didn't realize, but I was always interested in aviation. I always loved aviation.
Nice.
And I studied aviation undergrad, but in my second year in college, something was happening with one of the organizations I was working with, and I met a lawyer for the first time. Mm-hmm. And then two of my best friends were going to law school, so I was like, you know what, maybe I'm going to go to law school. Mm-hmm. And that's what made me go to law school and not pursue a career in aviation.
Okay, because this is all new. I've known you for years, and I didn't even know you had this hobby, flying airplanes. I didn't know until Corey's Corner. We do a lot of research. Shout out to the producer for bringing me all this information. And I'm reading, I'm preparing for the show. And I'm like, damn, I ain't know 10 siblings flying airplane. But I didn't know about the airplane because in 2023. You had to make an emergency landing in Long Island on the beach after your single-engine plane experienced engine failure. Can you walk us through what was going through your mind in that moment and how your training took over? But before you answer, so when I wake up in the morning and I see this in the newspaper, first I was praying like, damn, I'm glad you're okay because not too many people do emergency landings and make it. I'm glad you was able to put it on the beach and not on top of a beach house.
A moment for a New York State lawmaker who crash landed a small plane on a Long Island beach on Friday. A woman walking on that beach got this video. Look at this of the emergency landing. That's right. At the controls there, Queens Assemblyman Clyde Vanel and his passenger. Neither of them were hurt. Vanel says he was practicing maneuvers when the plane's engine failed and his emergency training kicked in. Good thing they're both okay.
Yeah,
So
no doubt.
Let's talk us through that.
So Corey, so that day was actually it was St. Patrick's Day 2023. So March 17, 2023, and I went to a community event in the morning, and it was a beautiful day, and I didn't fly for a minute, so I was like, you know what, let me just go, do some laps around the airport and do some stuff do some maneuvers over the water. I was in the airport in Long Island for a couple, for a little bit, because you can't. It's like a plane's kind of like a car. You can't just let it sit. You gotta, run it. Anyway, so while I was over the water that day, I felt, the engine was, I lost engine power, and I was like, I was too far to make it to an airport. There was a flat piece of land not too far from me, but I wasn't sure I could make it over the houses. But at the time, there was low tide, so that there's usually not a beach in that area.
Right.
But because it was low tide, there was sand not too far below me. So you get trained on a couple of things, but I was like, one of the most important things to do is find the best place to land.
Right.
And if you make that wrong decision, you ain't gonna make it.
Right.
So I was able to, thank goodness the beach was there, and I was able to put it down on the beach. But when it came down, Corey, I hit the ground hard. And I didn't get in the water. Thank goodness it was low tide. If it wasn't low tide, I would have had to put it down in the water,
right.
and I probably wouldn't make it because of hypothermia, because folks wouldn't be able to get me in time.
Right.
Because the water is still cold at that time.
Exactly.
So I came down hard, and bro, I walked out that airplane. There was somebody actually caught it on camera because she was bird watching on the beach. And she was looking at birds, she was bird watching, and then she turned around and said, "Oh, look at this bird.
Look at this bird."
So anyway, boom, I come down hard. Corey, I did not know if I was alive or not. For a while, for like 2 weeks, I couldn't see people. And when it happened, all of the news, all of the media was calling me. No matter, name it, they were trying to call me.
We got an assembly member who had basically.
I was in the right mindset.
Yeah.
Because I felt like Patrick Swayze in Ghost.
Wow.
I didn't know if I was, I walked out without a scratch. I mean, the plane was messed up.
Right.
And
this is your plane.
This is my plane.
Okay.
And I walked out like this.
Wow.
And it messed with my head for a little while.
Of course.
But then after a while, I thought, Corey, that what a blessing for me to have to be able for me to walk away from this and not share it and not teach. Because there were people, when I was going through the situation, and first of all, too, I mean, I could talk training all that I want. It wasn't all me. God is, right?
Definitely God was on your side that day.
No question about it.
Yes.
So, because there were people in similar situations, that, a week before, 2 weeks before, didn't make it. Did not make it, bro.
Wow.
So I was like, so then I started talking to other pilots about what to do during emergency situations and and the mindset to have.
Right.
And then I was like, I got to share this much more. I got to share this gift much more. And and I think that also, I have a second chance of life, man. So part of my meaning is that's part of who I am now. That's part of my purpose.
Right.
So I've been, working overtime, sharing the aviation with people and young people and getting folks to be able to learn how to fly.
Well, listen, I want to say here on Corey's Corner, brother, I'm glad that you're here. So, you're like a cat now. You got 9 lives. You used 2 already now, Assemblyman. Okay, you be careful with what you're doing out here. But I'm so happy that you made it through. And again, I know we have mutual friends, and everybody was calling one another. And I was just glad that you had all your fingers, your toes, your health. And when I found out, like, you just literally walked away from it, I was like, that's a testimony. So you gotta share that testimony with people. How did that experience reinforce your views on preparation and risk management?
Oh, it's all about that. It's all about safety and safety protocols and being prepared and training, and mindset. right? So in those situations, if you panic and if you're not trained properly, the chance of you making it not gonna be high. So people always say that in those kind of situations, you don't rise to the level, you fall to your level of training. So, so it makes me understand how important it is for safety. But Corey, not only in aviation, bro.
Right, in life.
In life.
In life.
Right, in life. Behind the wheel of a car.
Right.
Right. There's a high likelihood of us getting into a car accident and an airplane accident.
Exactly.
So it's really important for you to be safe behind the wheel.
Right.
It's really important for us to be safe, to say one of the most safest decisions to make is not to go.
Exactly.
Right. So let's talk about cars. If it's icy outside and it's black ice outside and you don't got to go, don't go.
Yeah.
Right. Don't go. Right now we're in this time. There's ice on the road now. We got to be safe with it.
That's right.
Now in New York, we still feel like we could drive there. Now in Atlanta, what would happen?
Yeah, they can't do
Yo,
it. Anything down past Virginia,
right.
they can't do it. They can't do it.
We got to respect weather, right? You got to respect weather. You got to respect conditions. You got to respect that kind of stuff. Even when we talk about safety, brother, I still ride. Well, I haven't ridden in a while, but on motorcycles.
Right.
We got to make sure safety is a big deal.
Oh man!
Right?
Please don't ride
It's
no
a-
motorcycles, Assemblyman in New York. I
It's a
lost
big
too
deal.
many friends
So
on
did I.
motorcycles.
So did I.
I just
So
feel
did
like
I.
New York City motorcycles are like built for the road. It's just too many stop signs. It's too many red lights. God bless my man Lenny, who flew over the Williamsburg Bridge.
Wow.
He ran into the back of a taxi cab and
Yep.
flew over. It's not a mutual friend of ours, Dr. Crystal Brown.
Yes.
She just a family member
Yep.
was just sitting at a red light and got rear-ended. And thank God he's doing a lot better right now, but he was in rehab.
Yeah.
Motorcycles is dangerous. And in the city, New York, LA, Chicago. So I'm on
But
my
it's-
motorcycle friend. Corrupt Mob, I love y'all.
And the
I
safety-
love Corrupt Mob. They my guys. But I don't want to see. I still want y'all to be a motorcycle club. I just don't want y'all on motorcycles.
No. But
Just wear the jackets. Just wear the jackets.
But it's all about mitigating the risk, right? So make
Yes.
sure that you wear your safety gear, right? Make sure you wear your safety gear. Make sure you ride safe. Make sure you go in safe places. And when you're on a bike, it's not just you. You got to watch out for everybody else, right? So it's defensive riding all the time.
And speaking of that, the president of Corrupt Mob actually was in a tragic car accident. He wasn't even on a bike.
Wow.
And he was in the hospital for months.
My
Thank
gosh.
God, Super Mario, love you.
Man.
Yeah, it wasn't. And he's been on a bike so many times, but he was in a car and it was a bad accident. But
Brother,
he
you
made it.
could get hurt on almost. So it's important just to be to be safe.
Just to be safe.
To be safe in whatever activity that you're doing.
Exactly. That's the message. So, last question on the flying. Have you flown since then, or has it been something that's bothering you? Did you?
Oh my God! I
that you was
flew a
afraid?
month after. I flew a month
did?
after that.
Okay.
I'm training now. I'm flying. I have another airplane that's bigger.
Okay.
I'm training other people. I'm working on becoming a certified flight instructor so I can train others.
Okay.
And I'm working now to train other folks. So
That's
yeah, and
good.
I fly
You
a lot.
tackled your fear. So
I fly a
we
lot.
just had a guest on NYPD Chief Winston Faison.
Yes.
So
Yes.
You know Winston. I
Yeah.
believe you know Winston. So now I have two friends that's pilots, and I'm not getting in even one of their planes because I don't like to fly. So this is crazy. Like two people I know flying airplanes and teaching people how to fly.
And your son took a flight lesson too, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
As chair of the Assembly Banks Committee, what are the biggest financial challenges for New Yorkers right now, especially in low economic communities?
So Corey, what's really tough when it comes to our communities with the most financial challenges is mindset. So what keeps people poor, what keeps people struggling, generally speaking, starts with mindset. Now keep in mind, that doesn't mean that we got to get the system fair. And we could argue and say we got to get the system more fair.
Right.
We got to make sure that, you know, the banks properly lend to folks. We got to make sure that people have access to finances.
Right.
We got to make sure that folks are able to buy homes and condos and cars and be able to have good jobs or what have you. But, you know, being in this position now, I realize that if I give you $1 million and you got a poor person mentality, you're going to be broke in less than a year again.
Yeah.
Right? If I give you whatever it is, and we just, if we throw money at the problem,
Right.
and we don't fix that mindset, you're going to be in the same position.
That's right.
So when we talk about financial literacy, what does that mean, bro? And, you know, and I used to have to stop and think about it and break it down. And what I realized is that we have to simplify it. So this year we're going to be doing something different, where we're going to try to have different programs to address financial literacy. One thing, we have something called 700 to 700. So we're going to try to get 700 people to a 700 credit score. We found out that, Corey, you can't buy a house if your credit score is messed up.
That's right.
But forget about that. You can't even rent an apartment if you got a low credit score. You're not gonna get. You're gonna have to get a cosigner or somebody, or put it under somebody's name.
That's right.
An apartment to rent an apartment.
Yeah.
If you have a low credit score, you're gonna pay more for money. That car payment is gonna be almost double.
Interest rate. Yeah.
So we have to make sure we nail down on credit scores. We also found out too that people in relationships often happens to women. Women with a guy or what have you, blah 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 blah. You put something in the name for your man. Y'all get into something, guess what? He bounces, you still owe it.
That's right.
Your credit messed up.
Yep.
Families.
He ain't paying. Yeah.
Oh, he ain't paying. He gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Families. You know, sometimes when you have families or what have you, you got, you know, the good kid. The good, they put everything on the good kid's name, bro, and mess up that person's credit. So what happens then, we have generational bad credit, bro.
That's right.
And we have neighborhoods of credit scores in the 5s. There's a brother that there's an organization called Operation Hope that said that, you know, low credit score neighborhoods have a lower life expectancy than high credit score neighborhoods. So there's a correlation.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna have a program with that. Then we're gonna have another program to get folks to get people financially independent. So most people that have a job. First of all, we gotta make sure people got jobs. That's the first place.
Right.
But folks that have jobs, most average people live paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
So how do we get people not to live paycheck to paycheck? How do we get people out of survival mode? So
They say you need to save 6 or 7 months of your
Oh,
bills.
oh, you good, bro?
Right.
Oh, I need to hire you, bro.
Yeah, but you live
got
check
this.
to check.
You
You
got
can't.
this.
You
got
have a
this.
crisis. You ain't got that 7 months.
Yes and no, a mindset, right? Cats that live paycheck to paycheck, but you still going to Cancun, bro. How you afford that, right?
Yes.
You live paycheck to paycheck. You got a $50,000 car, right? You paying $1,000 a month for a car. You find money to do stuff.
Right.
So so when we say, oh my gosh, you don't have enough money, when we give money, when you throw money at the problem, you don't address this. You don't address this. You know, you're addressing the symptom, but you're not addressing the core problem.
Right.
So we're gonna have a program called Triple F, right? It's called the Freeway to Financial Freedom. Getting folks to dealing with mindset, help you save 3 to 6 months of your expenses. When we break down your expenses, most people's expenses are, I don't know, $3,000 to $5,000 a month, whatever it is, whatever the number is.
Not mine, but yeah.
Oh well, you special, right? You got your own, you got your own brand on your hat, bro. You different. This is Corey's Corner, man. I'm talking about the average cat. We talk about the underserved, right? Not you. And we'll talk about you and how proud I am of you, bro, and what you've done with your life. But generally speaking, people's expenses, if you keep it relatively low, is a number.
Right.
What's that number? So we got to find. So we work with the folks, figure out what that is, and have them not even think about it, but automatically put a certain amount away to an account, a certain percentage away to an account where you don't even think about it until it gets to 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. When people have that kind of breathing room, you think and move different.
Right.
But you can't think. How do you make money in this world? How do you build in this world? You gotta have the space to think.
Mm-hmm.
But if your back is always to the wall, and you're always struggling, you're on
Robbing
survival
Peter
mode.
to pay Paul.
If you're robbing people to pay Paul, how you gonna grow?
Right.
So that's the second program we're gonna do. Third program we're gonna do is a program about I Investment Institute, to help folks invest. What we understand is that, that one of the major forces of the world is compound interest, right? Putting money into the stock market, right? And not picking stocks, but putting money into index funds or a certain type of funds or what have you, and just have that sent automatically, and have that, don't even watch it, and just have that build and grow. And then training folks those kinds of ways. If we do those kinds of basic things,
right,
and those basic programs, is going to be a way to get folks out of the mindset of poverty.
I love it. So let's recap. We're talking about 700 to 700.
Triple F, right? Freeway to financial freedom.
And
I Investment Institute.
Okay, y'all here on Corey's Corner. Make sure you reach out to the Assemblyman's office and inundate them with phone calls if you're looking to get some financial literacy freedom. You've sponsored groundbreaking legislation on AI, robotics, and automation. What moment made you realize New York needed to get ahead of these technologies?
Well, Corey, the world needs to get ahead of these technologies, right? Not just New York, right? When I was coming up, I told you I got a lot of brothers and sisters, and I told you I used to try to go to work so I could get out the house.
Right.
One of the jobs that I had in high school was I worked in a movie theater, and then a bunch of my siblings were cashiers. I had actually a bunch of my siblings were cashiers at Green Acres Mall.
Okay.
That was a time where, remember, people used to have to go and fill out job applications.
They
don't do that anymore, right? You don't have to go fill out, right?
Everything's online.
Right, everything's online.
No application.
And they used to have signs in front that said "Help Wanted."
Right.
That don't happen anymore, unfortunately. But anyway, but most of my siblings were cashiers. Right now, if you want a job as a high school kid, can you get a cashier job?
McDonald's still hiring. Burger King. The fast food spots.
But how many cashier jobs are available?
Not a lot.
So this was a couple of years ago. I went and looked, and I went and to see, just in 3 years, Home Depot, my main Home Depot went from 12 cashiers to 3. And it had more self-serve kiosks.
Yes.
When I went to Walgreens, you go to Walgreens, you got, instead of having 10 cashiers, there's one cashier.
There's only one.
3 kiosks.
And you can't get help at the kiosk.
Yo, so what about, go to my banks. It used to be a really good job to be a bank teller, right? You go to the banks, how many bank tellers?
2.
And all
But
ATM.
it's like 6 stations.
But how many ATM machines, right? All ATM machines.
Right.
So the world has been going in that direction for a long time.
Right.
I also saw that some of my colleagues have bills to have a robot tax. So if you have a job and if you have a business and you replace people with software robots, then you're going to have to pay extra if you do that kind of thing. But Corey, the state, we ourselves, if I drive up, when I have to drive up to Albany and I have to go through a toll, there's no toll booth operator. We replaced all those cats with technology. The subway, the ticket, we used to have a lot of people that were in the ticket booth, right? Remember that? That was a big time job.
Yeah.
Now, right, we replaced that with kiosks 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? So the government is getting more and more, using more and more technology, using more and more automation, robotics, and software. So what do we do in that space? And we've seen this happening for years. And keep in mind, technology has always replaced jobs. It's always replaced, but now it's happening much faster.
Right.
So Corey, we have to make sure that we prepare people for where the world is going.
Right.
We have to make sure we prepare people for where the jobs are going. And that's one. when we talk about jobs. Another thing is, too, we have to prepare folks for this new technology. And we have to make sure that this technology is fair and that we master it and control it. When people talk about AI, it's really interesting when folks talk about AI. It's really important for us to make sure that whatever AI is deployed fairly and that we control AI. That's really important for us to be able to do so.
Right. Let me tell you, today, right before I came here to the studio, President Trump just announced, I don't know if you even saw it, it was a big announcement. They're looking to do, I forgot I should have wrote it down, like the name for it, big tech, government big tech. They looking to hire like 200,000 people for AI. They're giving them between $165,000 and $190,000 to work for the government for 2 years. And they're going to be mentored by Silicon Valley, CEOs in Silicon Valley. So you're already way ahead of this. So this, like you were just talking about the government, the president just announced that today.
So look, again, there's a lot of things that are happening. Now, keep in mind, on the far end, we have to make sure that, when we talk about AI, when we talk about AI and robotics, we have to make sure that we control the machines. We have to make sure that we control the software.
Right.
We have to make sure that we as people of color also learn these technologies, right? So everybody's behind the 8 ball on it. Right?
Yeah, all I know is Chat GPT, and I just learned that like a week ago.
Good. Use it. Yeah, use it. Master it. But you know more than that, right? Because even your car, I just saw the car that you pulled up in. Your car has a lot of technology in it, right? So we have to make sure that we control the technology, we learn technology, and that we deploy technologies, and that we get into the jobs of the future.
Can you break down why licensing high-risk AI systems is critical for public trust and consumer protection?
Why licensing? You talking about licensing?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Look, it's really important for us to make sure that we are on top of what we call high-risk AI systems. Systems that make decisions for healthcare, systems that make sure certain financial decisions, systems that make decisions on a number of things that are really important to our lives. There was a point when, before I became the chair of banks, more and more people, when you're applying for a loan, actually nowadays when you're applying for a loan, you're usually applying for a loan online.
Yes.
You're not going in front of a person,
No
right?
more, no
right?
more.
You're not going to the bank, and right? It's usually applying online. Back almost 10 years ago, the banks were like, so we saw that there was a higher rate of women and people of color being rejected from getting loans, and the banks were saying, it's not us, it's the software. You can't have computers do what you can't do as a human.
Right.
So we have to make sure that when computers, when software or what have you are making decisions, that there's a human in the loop, there's a person checking that,
Right.
that there's audits being in place,
Right.
and that the outcomes are fair.
Right.
Especially, Corey, too. Now, that's just finance. When we talk about telehealth, man, I want to make sure this stuff comes out fair, because it could have a disparate impact on folks that look like us.
I mean, it's amazing now. I just go on my phone. I'm gonna go to the doctor. I go right on my phone. All the specialists, neurologists, they got the dates, the times. Just plug in. No more calling a primary guy for him to be waiting 2 days for. I mean, the technology
No
is.
doubt about it.
It's the gift and the curse, I guess.
It's a gift and a curse, so we have to make sure it's deployed fairly.
Right.
Right. It has to make sure it's deployed fairly and that it works for us.
And that leads me to right now. How do you balance encouraging innovation while also protecting communities from potential harms of this emerging technology?
You got to regulate it, right? We got to make sure that we find that balance. We got to make sure that we've been working to make sure that if we're using these technologies to make decisions, that is deployed fairly, that there's a human checking it, that there's an audit process to make sure that it's done fairly, and that it's transparent. When these programs, when these systems are done and it's not transparent and there are no audits, then there's no check on it. So we have to make sure that there's a check and balances with this stuff.
So basically, it's the analogy of, people think like AI is going to take over policing, and we all know you're going to always need that human cop to come there and make sure that things are right.
Yes,
you just can't.
But Corey, I got to keep it real. I got to push back on you a little bit, man.
Talk to me.
So we have beef with PD on AI and technology.
Okay.
So there was a couple of years ago, only 2 years ago, Spot the Robot Dog?
Right.
So 2 years ago, PD bought Spot the Robot Dog for like $100K or what have you.
Right.
And it was a test program at the time. And they sent Spot the Robot Dog in a housing project.
Right.
And it's going up
Yeah.
the stairs, and people lost their minds. Could you imagine?
Yes.
They were like, "Yo, RoboCop, RoboDog is here." Yo, Corey. So when I heard that, and again, I'm the chair of of technology. I was like, "Yo, they didn't tell us.
They didn't tell you.
That's ridiculous. You can't. Y'all can't do this." So
sometimes the police just do what they want to do. But you got to have checks and balances on them.
That's what I'm talking about. So it's about making sure we have checks and balances.
Right.
So that's an example of making sure that, there are technologies out there, but we have to make sure that there's checks and balances and that it's provided fairly. So one other example. So Eric Adams wanted to have a robot help the PD in the train stations, right? Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, when I hear that, we don't want RoboCop in New York City, right?
Right.
So we were like, yo, come on, man. We can't. Nah, this is not a good thing. Anyway, eventually, I don't know if you remember, at 42nd Street, I don't know if they're still there, there is a robot that is always watching at night on the weekends on 42nd Street, but it cannot look like a human. So it looks like a big round thing that's not threatening looking. Because we're careful about not only what technology we're using, but how it's deployed. So if we had big diesel RoboCop walking down the street, Corey, that would be a problem. Yeah. So we had to make sure, we wanted to make sure that, again, that it's not something that is going to scare everyone, and no weapons on it also.
Right. Oh, man. You've been a strong voice on closing the digital divide. What does digital equity really look like for even like in your district 33?
So digital equity means that, keep in mind now, we just talked about how, when I was a kid and when we were younger, we would go to the stores and actually fill out paper applications. Now, most people interact with the workplace or future workplace online.
Right.
Also, like even now, I have to renew my registration. I could do that online. So most people have to do a lot of stuff online. We have to make sure that our community is connected. We have to make sure that our community not only has a data plan, which are expensive, but also has the means to be able to interact with the world to be able to do so. So you have to have the underlying affordable accessibility to the internet.
Right.
One.
Okay.
Two, we have to make sure that we have the hardware to be able to do so, the phone and the and then the skill set, which is really important.
And the infrastructure.
Well, the infrastructure, which is the internet and stuff like that. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But the skill set. So we have to make sure that. So I've gotten resumes, Corey, from people whose emails are, I don't even want to say, Smooth Daddy number one at Gmail. I mean, you can't. I mean, just your first name and last name, bro. Right at gmail.com. You don't need, hot chocolate. Blah blah. They can't. But guess what? People aren't trained about that. They don't understand that too.
Right.
Another thing to talk about, being prepared in this digital world is your social media.
Yes.
You got to have your digital reputation is important.
Oh,
right.
Digital footprint taking everybody out.
You're right. So young folks don't understand, and not so young people either, don't understand how cops lose their positions for what they post online.
Not only that, but young people. I'm glad you said that because I was just reading something about a group chat. So for the young people out there, understand, they say a bunch of 15-year-old boys. One boy puts a naked picture of a 13-year-old girl in the group chat. Guess who owns that? Everybody in the group chat. So it will behoove you to delete that picture immediately. Probably tell your parents, like, yo, because when the police investigate, everybody owns that. That's the curse of social media.
That's the curse of social media, of these digital. So keep in mind, these tools are great if used properly.
Right.
And it's making sure that, we use them properly. And also, and kids are kids.
Of course.
Right? But we got to make sure that we teach them about now, what we talked about, that's part of digital literacy.
Mm-hmm.
When you're applying for school, guess what? They check your social media, bro. When you're applying for jobs,
that's right.
They check your social media.
That's right.
And certain things you can't, take out. So you have to understand that your reputation in the world is important. Your digital reputation is important also, as important. So when we talk about digital literacy and understanding that, we have to understand that this world is becoming that, you're going to have to interact more and more online. You have to interact more and more digitally. And what does that mean? And we have to make sure we train folks on these kinds of things.
You're a member of the MIT AI Policy Forum. What conversations are happening there that the public should be paying more attention to?
Again, so that forum is a forum with world leaders and different folks from around the world that work on policy.
Nice.
To work on high-level AI issues, like data privacy, right? Like high-risk AI. Like making sure, and keep in mind, a lot of these different countries and municipalities or what have you, we all are dealing with the same issues. We're all dealing with this technology can grow and it's growing fast. We have to make sure that we have the right policies worldwide to be able to try to address a lot of these policies. Eventually, the stuff that we saw on movies, like Terminator, like blah blah blah. It's
Will
not
Smith movie.
Yeah, iRobot.
Years ago.
It's not too far out.
Let me tell you.
Right. So Elon Musk is talking about in 5 years you're gonna have they'll have a robot that you can have for $30,000 that can do anything for you.
This is insane.
So we have to make sure that we prepare and we're ready for that.
Yeah, I'm more concerned that somebody's gonna get hurt off this AI technology. I just saw earlier today on Instagram Barack Obama slapping the fire out of Trump like it was at a meeting. They was at a table. He was like, "You think I'm playing with you? Think I'm pow!" Like, so you could transform that to like a husband and wife. Let's say a side chick. If it's a guy or a girl sends a video to somebody's gonna get hurt off this AI.
It's happening. Those are called deep fakes. Right, and what we found with kids is that sometimes they put the face of a girl on a naked body, right, and then pass that around,
yes,
and create all kinds of things. So and we've also saw in politics where folks are creating deep fakes saying that this person did blah blah blah, and not even words, video, right, just like
yes.
so. One of the major issues what we're trying to do is to what is not only regulations, what are we doing about those deep fakes? We also see in music where I could take Corey's voice and you could come out with your own song, and people could, right? Last week the number one country song was an AI song, a song made by AI with an AI artist.
With my favorite artist right now. This second, Zanaya Monet. She's the hottest R&B singer in the world, and her songs are like #1. If you look at her album, you just run it through, and it's an AI voice. But there's a girl in Alabama or Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, who's the voice, the writer behind it. It's unbelievable. I did not know, Assemblyman. I didn't know this was a fake person. I'm texting, like DM, like, I love your music. The music is fire. I wake up like 2 days later, it's all over the news. She's on the billboards, top.
So
AI.
So the challenge is this. We're already in a world where people are creating synthetic people, synthetic humans to make synthetic art and to make synthetic stuff? Are we going to buy the fake stuff? And what are we going to do with the real stuff? Right? So there's a movie that's out where there's a one actor and everyone else is AI generated. Right? What are we going to choose with that? Coca-Cola came out with last year Coca-Cola came out with a ad that was all AI generated. And the community said, nah, we don't like that. We also, if you could also remember that in Vegas, I think there was a Tupac hologram
Yes.
concert.
Yes.
But are we gonna vote? Again, there's a place for that.
Right.
But you could imagine that in the future, that the biggest artists can be AI, right? But what happens and now that's just a voice that you heard.
Right.
What happens when we're not gonna know the difference between a human and a robot?
That's right. Yes.
So if we don't make these regulations now, right, in the future, right, the robots, a humanoid,
Right.
could be the biggest artist,
Yes.
right? So these are things that we have to make sure that we not only think about, that we're dealing with right now. Is it a good thing that the number one R&B person that you like now is not a real human?
Yes, she's
right?
not.
She's not even a real human.
No, she's not.
So what happens when they could put a robot behind that? What happens when she could look like anything?
Yes.
And it could be, and you go, and what happens to the artists? What happens to the humans? The human artists.
The human artist. Yes, it's crazy. But don't put no regulations on, because I always wanted to be a rapper. And I'm gonna be MC Squeaky Clean. Don't worry, it's gonna be all clean music. Listen, we have this segment of the show called Spitfire Round. Well, I'm gonna ask you 10 rapid fire questions. You're gonna give me answers, yes or no, or one more answer. It's a fun game.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Let's go.
Let's do it. AI or blockchain? Which will impact everyday New Yorkers first?
AI.
One tech skill every young person should learn before the age of 18.
Prompting.
Biggest myth about AI.
Biggest myth about AI. I don't know. It's just new. I don't know if there's any myths about it. It's all new. So, folks, I'm not sure if there are any myths about it.
Okay. Law. Well, I got a myth. It's gonna take over the world.
But that's not just. It's happening.
That's the truth.
That's
Not a real myth.
You said your favorite artist is an AI artist, right? You
Yes.
just said that, all right?
Yes.
Sheesh, so
Okay. Law, aviation, or entrepreneurship? Which one was the hardest for you?
the hardest, they're all part of me. So I don't know about the hard, right? I love them all. They're all
Okay.
they're all part of me.
That's fine. One mistake small business owners make that costs them the most money.
Not reducing friction to receive value. So we still have a lot of small businesses that only accept cash, right?
Okay.
Or make it difficult to receive money. If you want to find out how to receive money, go to a young person.
Okay.
Why? You know why? Mm-hmm. So college kids, you can give it to them, Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, but whatever way.
Yeah, my
whatever.
kids-
Yo,
My kids don't carry no cash. They don't want no cash. They think it's like food stamps.
But they can
When
receive-
we was little, like, I don't want no food stamps. Today they don't want no cash. Just like, what are you talking about?
And they got every program to receive
Every
them.
program.
Every kind of program.
Every
But why
program.
don't our businesses have that, bro? Right? If a young person can have all those kind of things, why don't? What about our businesses? So
Yes. Tech excites you or worries you?
besides,
If you weren't in public office, what would you be doing right
I still do it now. I'm not only in public office. I'm an attorney.
Yeah.
I'm a pilot. I'm an entrepreneur. So I don't choose one.
now? Pilot mindset or lawyer mindset?
I don't choose. I'm both.
Both?
All.
Okay.
All.
Which you use most?
There's not a most.
It's equal.
I fly a lot. I practice a lot. We have to make sure. So we have to be in a mindset of and, not or.
Okay, I like that. Good quote. One book, podcast, or resource you recommend to future innovators? Corey's Corner. Okay.
Oh, Corey's Corner. Yeah, there you go. We got it.
Easy. That was easy.
We got it.
Legacy, the producer's like, let him answer. No, that's the answer.
But a book I'd like young people to read is, and it's a pretty easy read, a book called The Alchemist. Really, really good book to talk about striving and keep going, keep going and building.
Okay. Last one. Legacy or impact, which matters more to you?
I think they're, same thing with different sides of the coin, but, important while you're living to have, to have impact. Legacy will take care of itself.
Okay. We're participating in the Spitfire round. That was great. All right, before we jump back in, I want to shout out and acknowledge my book, Once a Cop, The Street, The Law, Two Worlds, One Man. It's a book about a misguided young kid that did some really bad things when he was young, but the pendulum swung and he became a successful person in America. The book was turned into a feature documentary on Hulu and Apple TV called The Cops and Robbers Story. So if you get a chance, either read the book or watch the movie. Instead of Netflix and chill with your girl, Hulu and hang out and have fun. And let me know. Email me at oncoryscorner@gmail.com. Let me know your thoughts. Now a word from our sponsors.
This is not your average vodka. This is Vodkila, a decade of cultured excellence. The best of both worlds. The true taste of victory. A delicious dyad spirit. The world's finest blend of vodka and tequila. Vodkila, the perfect blend. From rooftop parties to quiet moments with friends, Vodkila brings the flavor, the fire, and the unforgettable. So pour it, share it, live it. Vodkila. Visit vodkila.net and order yours today.
I'm Michael Stoney, and this is Corey's Corner, where he always keeps it right, not real.
As an internet entrepreneur with trademarkready.com, what common mistakes do small business owners make when it comes to intellectual property?
Corey, that's a great question. So Corey, one of the major issues for our people is protecting ideas. I mean, from the beginning of time, right, we are the ones that founded architecture with the pyramids, astrology, science, right, from Africa, from Egypt, right, psychology. But yet, when we learn about the Greeks. We have to make sure. So we, from antiquity, didn't properly protect our ideas. Fast forward to music and art or what have you. And in this country, the biggest artist back in the days was Elvis, who got his stuff from somebody that looked like us.
That's right.
Right? There was a point where they used to come out with albums. Our music was the hottest, but they can't put our faces on the albums.
That's right.
Or we would still have to go out and perform and for other audiences, but we can't own the copyright. Fast forward even more, where we rent cars and we rent stuff. We rent and we wear European brands in our music videos, doing product placement for free. Even worse than that, we name ourselves after brands that don't even want us to name us.
That don't even want us to wear their
Don't even want us to wear our clothes, bro.
Yeah. Timberland.
I don't even want to name stuff. You could go
Right.
on and on.
Yes.
Gucci Man, Timberland, right? I mean, Remy Martin. So we have to make sure we own our stuff.
Right.
And our businesses also have to make sure that they own their copyrights, they own their trademarks. So as a small business owner, if you don't understand that, when you die or when you stop working, right, you stop getting paid. But if you own the intellectual property, you still can get paid. You get paid when you sleep. So it's really important for you to own, whether you're a barbershop or whether you own you do nails, or whether you do whatever kind of business, the brand, the trademarks, the copyrights are really important to own.
You used to own a restaurant and a lounge. What did that experience teach you about small business survival in New York City?
Man, so I owned a restaurant and lounge in downtown Manhattan. So I was a young lawyer, and I was a lawyer for restaurants and lounges. And there was a point where I went and helped a company in Philadelphia franchise and have like 7 restaurants. And I was like, yo, this. They were blowing up. And I'm like, I'm getting the lawyer money, but these dudes are getting real money. I was like, no, I'm going to open up my own place.
Right.
So I went to New York and opened up my own place in downtown in the East Village. And bro, so that business is a different business, man. Oh my God.
I owned the restaurant for 8 years,
really?
so I know.
I never worked that hard in my life.
Yes. It's
What?
tough business.
And in the area where I was at, it was from night on Thursdays to Sundays, it was 5 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yes.
And there was a point where I had to learn how to do everything.
That's right.
But I learned a lot. I learned about a lot of stuff about business. I learned about human nature. I learned about working with different kinds of people. I learned about I learned about a lot, and that's a business that you really you learn a lot about different kind of business.
People don't realize about that restaurant business is after you close, it's 6-7 more hours of prep for the next day.
You got to close down, and you got to prep for the next day. Or Corey, you deal with people that when folks don't show up, you got to be there. You got to. Oh man, that's a tough. But it was a fun business.
Yeah, it was fun.
But you know what? Yeah. Also learned that I opened it to have passive income. But if you're running it, that's the opposite of passive, bro.
Yes,
that is
tough.
It is.
No, trust me.
And everybody thinks you're making big money. Everybody think you're getting paid.
And don't invite your friends there because they all want to eat for free.
Everybody want to eat for free. Yeah. Everybody, you should be paying more, right? If you understand business and you come into my place, you should want to pay more.
Exactly.
You can't. It's a business. It's not my living room, bro.
It's funny.
Right?
That's funny. Why is exposing young people, especially black and brown youth, to STEM careers so important personally to you?
Look, it's important for us to be able to understand and master STEM because that's I don't understand why we're asking to be part of STEM. I just said that we were the founders of science and technology. Why are we asking to be part of it now? It's just taking claim of what's already ours. The world is becoming more and more hinged on technology.
Right.
So we have to make sure that we control it, build it, grow it. That's why it's important for us to be able to be in the sciences, for us to be in math, for us to be in these kinds of STEM programs, and to have that type of training because that has to be native and part of what we do.
Right. As the founder of New York Metro chapter of Black Pilots of America, what barriers did you see in aviation that needed to be broken?
There's still a lot of barriers right now. So we live in a neighborhood where JFK is right there.
Right down the block.
Right down the block. And in every household, somebody worked at the airport.
That's right.
Everybody.
Yes.
You were security.
I didn't think about that.
Come on, son. Everybody.
Yes.
Right? You were security. You cleaned the airport. Baggage handler. All kinds of things, right? But can we fly the airplanes too?
Right.
Can we be in upper management? Can we also run the airport? Can we also run Port Authority? Can we also run the airlines? So we should not only be at the entry level parts of the airport, we should also run all up and down.
That's
in the aviation.
funny you say that because as a little boy, I could remember my father taking me and my little sister to JFK on the side, and he would sit there. I'm talking about like 6-7 years old. And watch the planes. We would just sit there in his 1979 Caprice and just watch the planes go off. Like, people don't understand that.
That's right, yeah.
What's one story from your work with aspiring pilots that really stays with you?
Look, what's ongoing, what stays with me is that, look, I love seeing a person experiencing flight for the first time. And that always gets, it's a beautiful thing to be able to have people experience that. I also love seeing folks, being able to have the opportunity to be able to experience aviation, whether if they want to be a pilot professionally or not. I love seeing people's eyes light up when they do that.
Yeah. As a Kappa, how has fraternity life influenced your commitment to service and mentorship.
That's what it's about, right? It's about being part of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated is about service. It's about providing helping communities and help and giving back.
What colors are y'all Kappa?
There's only one color. I don't know any other colors, bro. Red and white. I don't know. Yeah, crimson and cream. I don't see any other color. I don't see I'm actually colorblind, bro. I didn't know that too. Yeah. I'm actually,
Oh, okay.
I'm color deficient.
I think them yellow and purple guys.
Those are my nemesises. But I love those dudes. I love those dudes. I love those dudes. But but I got love for all the organizations. You know
what is it? 9, right?
They call it the Divine Nine.
Divine 9, right? Yes.
Yeah. But
those are men and women.
Yeah. But I have love for all the organizations.
I know.
Y'all do. But mine, mine is mine is the main one.
That's the main one. Okay. We wind it down. Last couple of questions. Serving the 33rd Assembly District since 2016, what accomplishments are you most proud of that directly impacted your constituents? And for the record, so just to give you your flowers while you're here so the people know that he didn't just walk into a seat. You ran once or twice and lost, I believe. At least
ran 4 times.
Ran 4 times. So this is perseverance. I want y'all young people and people looking to get into any type of office. If you're not all really, really locked in, it's not a cakewalk. 4 times he ran. I can remember. We've been friends a long time. I remember you out there, and so I'm so very proud of you. But what are you most proud of that directly impacted your constituents?
So my main thing, I'm about So we've helped funded schools. We helped fund many non-for-profit organizations. We've passed many different laws. But my main goal is economic. My main goal is there's a lot of stuff we got to do.
I love the 700 to 700.
There's a lot of stuff we got to do.
Yes.
But if you hungry, it don't matter.
Right.
We're from a neighborhood, bro, where my mom cleaned office buildings. Mm-hmm. My dad drove taxi cabs. I'm Haitian, so we drive and stuff.
Right.
So, but my dad drove taxi cabs. Mm-hmm. And back in the 80s, they were able to buy a house in Cambria Heights.
Right.
With 10 kids. Mm-hmm. But we live in a time now where those 10 kids could go get 20,000 degrees. Mm-hmm. You can't afford to buy the house in Cambria Heights no more.
Yeah, you can't. All my friends keep moving down south and they get bored and they want to come back. They can't
afford to come back anymore.
It's over.
So one of the major things I have to do is make sure we talk to your economics and make sure that you are able to try to figure out how you're able to live, maintain, buy a place in Queens, right, and retire well. So we have to make sure. So what I've been doing, what I focus on is jobs. Mm-hmm. What I focus on is training. What I focus on is economic opportunities. So we've gotten people we've worked on programs to get people from having a restaurant in the neighborhood to having locations inside JFK Airport.
Right.
We worked on programs where people are not just becoming baggage handlers, but are in upper management at JFK.
Nice.
We work on programs to make sure that people are able to work for the big tech companies. Mm-hmm. If you look at my social media, if you look at what we're doing, we focus a lot on jobs and business opportunities. Because what's really important is that, forget about, how do we make sure that you have the skills to be able to live well in this society. We've also worked on programs where, not even on that level too, we worked on programs where we provide free training to get your CDL license. So someone with a commercial driver's license.
That's a good job.
It's a good job for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
You know how I found that out? One day I'm chilling at, I was doing something with my driver's license, and I was like, let me try this CDL process. Mm-hmm. I went and I took the CDL. I'm good with paperwork. I'm good with tests.
Right.
So I passed the CDL thing, So I was like, oh, shoot, okay, I'm going to go get my CDL license. So I went, I failed the road test, son. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I can't back up a truck.
Right.
And there are people that can whip the truck, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they can't do the paperwork. They can't do the written test.
Right.
So I realized, I was like, oh my God, there's a big hole where people need help to be able to get these programs. So for the past couple of years, we've been doing free CDL trainings so people can get their commercial driver's licenses.
That's great.
So we focus on making sure that we give you, I try not to give too many food giveaways. Mm-hmm. I try not to do too many turkey giveaways. Right? But I try to give you a boat so that you can fish.
I love that. Dropping jewels on Corey's Corner. You see that? I love that. Well, listen, last question, when you think about your legacy, how do you want future generations, especially young innovators, to remember Clyde Vanel?
I can't even think that way. I'm still living, right? I'm still trying to make impact. So I don't worry about how I want to be remembered. Mm-hmm. And I'm not looking backwards, I'm still looking forward. So we're still trying to build, we're still trying to grow. And again, our focus is on trying to make sure that, in a society where, in a working class neighborhood, the houses cost, I don't even want to tell you how much these houses cost, right?
I know.
Okay, it's right. So in a working class neighborhood where the houses cost
almost $1 million, and I look and I
say, a ranch house.
Are you kidding
me?
Right,
with
50 by 100.
50 by 100, right? I mean, that's what's happening.
Hey, you want to live in a nice neighborhood, you got to pay to play.
So I want to make sure that we're addressing how to make sure that folks are able to live in this neighborhood, which is a beautiful neighborhood, it's a great neighborhood, and to be able to live, build, and grow and die right here.
And the elderly keep the house that they brought for $40,000.
It's a major issue, right?
50 years
That's
ago.
a major issue. We find out too is that, or what part of the issue too is that, the elderly, they have the house, they're living in the house, their kids are in Charlotte, Atlanta, blah, 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 not really helping them.
Exactly.
Right? And they don't understand that even though they got a big, beautiful house, wherever it is, this house is worth twice the amount.
Exactly.
And these folks are not taking care of their parents well, and they're not taking care of the house. That's a major issue that we have to make sure that when one house is lost on a block, that's $1 million of Black generational wealth.
That's right.
So we have to make sure we address. We're trying to work to address that.
Okay. Well, listen. Before we wrap, is there anything else you'd like to share that we haven't touched on?
Yeah. So I wanted to first of all give you your flowers, Corey. I don't know if anybody checked out, Cops and Robbers on Hulu. I did check it out.
I appreciate that.
Big deal. First of all, it's a big deal for us, for you to have a documentary on such a platform.
Yes.
Also a big deal for you to share your story with everyone. But I want everybody to go check that out. Check out your book, and you one of smooth cats out here with your own logo. So really appreciate what you do for the community. Yes. And for years, you weren't only just a cop, but for years you've been making sure you give back to the community. And even this program is something that that you're giving back to. So really appreciate you, brother.
Yes, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let the people know where they can find you, like your office or email or whatever, social media.
So my office is right on Springfield Boulevard and 97th Avenue in Queens Village. And on social media, you can find me at my name, Clyde Vanel, on all the socials.
Okay, Assemblyman Clyde Vanel, thank you for your leadership, your insight, and for your work you continue to do in the public space in the intersection of innovation, equity, and public service. Your commitment to preparing our communities for the future while staying grounded in service does not go unnoticed. And lastly, personally, I want to thank you for coming on. You didn't have to do this. When I called you, you was like, yo, all right, we're going to work it out. Because I know you're going to be in session next month. I was stressing you. I got to get you on before the new year.
That's right.
It's you and Hyman. I'm stressing both of you. I think Alicia's coming on in the next week or two. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let your colleagues know. They always got a seat at Corey's Corner if they want to get any information out. The love is always here. I appreciate you always, brother.
Thank you, man.
Thank you
for what
so
you're doing,
much.
bro.
For our listeners, if you found value in today's episode, make sure you follow, subscribe, and support. This has been another episode of Corey's Corner. Until the next time, keep pushing, keep grinding, and always remember, it's not about where you start. It's always about where you finish. I'm Corey Pegues, and I always keep it right, not real. Peace.
Special thanks to our executive producer, our engineers, and much respect to Corrupt Mob for making Corey's Corner possible.
Once a cop, let it knock, yeah. I for one thing we should celebrate redemption instead of condemning it. Corey Pegues, what up? Talk your truth, bruh. Check it out. Once a cop, how you